seated with our sitting bones pressing down into our mat and lifting our chest, pulling those shoulders back and down. Can close our eyes, take a couple of really deep breaths in through our nose, out through our mouths. Bringing our thoughts inward. Making sure that we're always listening to what our bodies and ourselves are needing and what they are capable of doing today. We don't ever want to push too hard, even if we could possibly do it yesterday. Maybe today is not the day to do that. So making sure that we are working with the body that we have today. We'll seal our lips. Inhale and exhale through our nose. And we'll inhale, lift our hands up to the sky. Drop the shoulders away from the ears. Stretch those fingers nice and wide and high, pressing the sitting bones down into our mats. And then exhale, we'll just take those hands over to the right. We can release that right hand down to the ground, reaching the left hand up and over. Because we are having such a beautiful harvest moon right now, we will do a little variation, modification of our moon salutation. Inhale, hands come up high. Sunday stretch style. Exhale, let's bring those over to the left. And inhale up. And then exhale, let's fold forward, bringing those arms forward, chest comes forward and down. Butts are still down into our mats. And we'll slowly walk those hands back, roll our way up, and we'll take this right leg out in front for Janu Shirshasana. Left foot comes to the inside of the thigh. We'll turn our chest toward that right leg and slowly walk ourselves down into a fold. And then we'll help ourselves back up and we'll turn toward this left knee and we'll drop the right arm to the inside of that right leg, reaching the left hand up and over. And then inhale back up to the top. Hands can come down to the floor. We'll tuck that right foot back behind us. We'll roll over up onto our hands and our knees. Hands are underneath of our shoulders. Knees are underneath of our hips. Let's exhale to a cat, rounding the spine. And inhaling cow. Little arch, dropping that tummy, lifting the heart. Let's exhale to a cat. Tucking the chin, and then inhale, cow. And then releasing back to the neutral spine and coming back to our child's pose. Arms are out in front of us, hips are back over our heels, chest are lowering down in towards our mat. And then we'll inhale up to a little plank. Hands are under our shoulders, hips are coming forward, chests are proud. And then we'll bring that right foot forward into lizard pose, or to a little lunge. Good. From here, let's find our balance and we'll lift our hands up to the sky for a crescent lunge. Hips are coming forward, chests are lifting, arms are coming up, and maybe a little bit back, tiny back bend here. And then the hands will come back down to our mats. And then again, finding our balance, lifting our chest. Now the arms will come back behind us as if we're trying to reach our toes back behind, lifting the chest. Hips are still coming forward, opening up that heart. And then again, hands come back down to the mat. Good, and now let's tuck that left foot back behind us and lift it up into a full lunge. And we'll walk our hands around to the left into a wide forward fold. Good. And now we're going to walk those hands laterally toward this right foot, shifting our hips over for a side lunge or skandasana. Hands can stay on the floor if we need, or we can lower that butt. Hands can come to the heart. And then hands come back down. We'll lift our butts. We'll find that forward fold again. Can wiggle it a little bit if we need. Good, and then from here, we'll keep our hands underneath of our shoulders. We have a nice flat back behind us. Feet are wide. We're gonna keep that right hand on the floor. Lift up the left for a little twist here. And lower back down. And we'll switch sides. Left hand will stay on the floor. Right hand comes up. And back down. And then we can release those hands, drop the head down into our forward fold again. And then we're gonna walk our hands over toward that left foot now, moving our way into our side lunge on this side. Hands come to the floor. Let's lift that butt up for our forward fold again. And now we might be turned around as we go around to the left foot. Find our lunge on this side. So if you need to turn around so you can see, or if you want to just be backwards, that's completely fine. And then we'll drop that right knee into our lizard pose on this side. And then finding that balance. Let's inhale, bring the chest up, pull the arms back, lift up the heart. And then exhale, let's come back down to our lunge. Sink a little bit further down. Again, find the balance, lift the hands up for crescent lunge. Hands come down. Sink those hips. And now let's step back into our child's pose. Let's go back. Chest and arms are out in front of us. And now let's swish our feet over to the left. We'll sit down and we'll bring that left leg forward for Janu Shirshasana. Right leg goes to the inside of the thigh. And then we'll turn toward this right knee. Nice tall spine. Dropping that left arm to the inside of our leg. Lifting the right arm up and over. And then inhale, let's come up. We'll turn toward that left leg. And then exhale, folding forward toward the toes. And then we'll help ourselves back up. Bring that left leg in and we'll find ourselves back in easy seated pose. Inhale, hands come up high. And then exhale, let's fold forward here. Hinging at the hips, let's keep a nice straight back as we slowly lower our chest down, using those hands to creepy crawly forward, using the breath to help lengthen and soften. And then helping ourselves back up to the top. Hands come up high. And now let's exhale them over to the left. Left hand can come down, right arm reaches up and over. And then inhale will come up. And then exhale over to the right. And inhaling up. Let's bring those hands together at the top. Exhale them down to our hearts, closing our eyes. Let's take 3 breaths here. Make that last exhale count. And let's bring those hands up. Exhale over to the left. And inhale up. And exhale over to the right. And bring those hands up high. Feel those sitting bones down into our mat. Let's exhale forward. Maybe we get that chest a little bit lower. Arms out a little bit further. Or maybe we don't, and that's completely fine too. Whatever happens, happens. We help ourselves back up to the top. We'll pull out that left leg again. Janu Shirshasana. Let's turn to the left leg. Exhale, folding forward. And then helping ourselves back up to the top. Let's turn to that right knee. And we'll tilt over to the left, lowering that left arm to the inside. Right arm comes up and over, opening up the shoulders so that we can peek inside that right arm up toward the sky. And then back up to the top. Lowering the hands down. We'll swish this left foot back behind us. We'll come back onto our hands and our knees, opening those fingers nice and wide. Let's exhale into a cat. And inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. And inhale, cow. Back to that neutral spine. Hips will go back to our child's pose. Wiggle those fingers out in front of us. Hips go back. And now let's inhale forward for our little plank. Nice proud chest here, long back. And then we'll take that left leg forward into our lizard pose. And now let's find that balance. We'll come up high for a crescent lunge. Hands come up over our head, hips come forward, chest is lifting high. And then exhale, hands come back down to our lizard. And then inhale, let's bring that chest up again, reaching back with those hands, lifting the heart, opening up that chest. And then hands come back down. Let's tuck that right toe back behind us. And we'll walk around to the right into our wide-legged forward fold. Wiggle into it, find where we're at. Good, and then we'll slowly walk those hands laterally over toward that left foot. Lower the butt down. We can lift up those right toes for a side lunge, whichever height we are at. If this is where we're at, this is where we're at. All of these things are perfect. Good, hands come down. We'll come back to that forward fold. Drop the head, lift the hips. And then we'll lift up our chest. Hands will come underneath of our shoulders. We'll keep our right hand on the floor. Left hand comes up to the sky for a little twist. Bringing our gaze up toward those fingers or past. Looking up toward the moon. Hand back down. Switching sides, left hand down, right hand comes up. And back down. And now let's fold forward again. Drop the head. Arms can relax. We can even walk our hands back behind us in between our legs. And now let's go over toward the right side. So for our side lunge, hands come over toward that right foot. Left toes come up to the sky. Lower the butt, lift the heart. Hands come down. We'll find that forward fold one last time. And then we're going to walk all the way around to that right foot for our lunge, hands to the inside of the foot, and then we can lower that left knee down into the mat for lizard pose. Hips coming forward, chests are proud, shoulders are soft. And then inhale, let's reach back, lift the heart, sink those hips. And then hands come back down. Find that lunge. Gathering up our balance, inhale, hands come up high for a crescent. Good, and hands come back down. Let's step back with that right leg to our child's pose. And we'll switch our feet over to the right, sitting our bums down. Let's bring that right leg out in front of us. Left foot comes to the inside of the thigh. We'll turn toward the left knee. Lengthen in that spine on the inhale. Exhale, over to the right. Elbow to the inside of the leg. Left hand is up and over. Stacking the shoulders, peeking to the inside of that left arm. And we can still do our lengthen on the inhale, relax on the exhale. Inhaling back up to the top. Turning toward that right leg. And now let's fold forward. And then slowly we'll help ourselves up. And bring that right leg in, coming into an easy seated position. Lifting the hands up high. Exhale, let's fold forward. And then inhale, walking our hands back. Hands come up high. And now let's exhale over to the right. And back up to the top. And exhale over to the left. And back up to the top. Let's bring those hands together. Exhaling them down to our hearts. Press into those palms. Close our eyes and take 3 breaths here. And let's inhale, bring those hands up to the sky. Now from here, we're going to bend that right arm like we have to scratch our back. Left hand will come and touch the elbow and help that tricep and bicep stretch without moving our head forward. So using that left hand, open up inside the shoulder, in the upper arm, even in our little armpit. Good. And then we'll release that right arm and we'll bring it back behind us. Right arm comes around and tries to touch this left hip. And we can take the left hand and just kind of secure it there. And now from here, nice tall spine. We'll drop that right shoulder and we'll lower the head off to the left. We'll lift the head, we'll release the hand. Both arms come up to the sky. And we'll move over to the other side. So left arm will reach back, try and touch behind the neck. Right hand will help that elbow stay pointed toward the top. Nice tall spine. Find a spot in front of us to look towards so that we don't go down towards the floor. You can even look up toward the moon. Make sure that we're keeping our neck nice and safe and strong. And then we'll release that left hand. We'll bring it back behind. Try and touch that right hip. Anchor it with the right hand. Nice, tall, big inhale. Drop the shoulder on the left side. Lower the head over to the right. Open up in that neck, top of the shoulder. We might even get some behind the shoulder. While we're there, while our fingertips are over here in our hips and in our belly, feel the breath move all the way down into our low belly. Feel those ribs expand as we inhale, oh so deep. And then we'll raise up that head. We'll release the arms, give them a little shake if we need. Inhale, let's come up. And then exhale. We'll just lower those hands. Give ourselves a little wiggle, a little shimmy if we need. And now let's open our legs up a little bit. We're going to extend this left leg nice and long. Right knee is going to stay bended. I got to decide which direction I want to face. And then we'll cross that right leg over the left. And think about bringing this right hip down toward the mat all the time. We lengthen on that inhale. We hug with the left arm around that right knee. And then exhale, let's twist to the right, bringing that right hand back behind us. Use it as like a support of our spine, as opposed to leaning way back. Nice and tall. Lengthen on the inhales. Deepen that twist on the exhales. And then don't forget the focus of this right hip continuing to move down toward the mat. Lots of things going on in all poses. If anybody tells you that yoga is easy, it's not that much of a workout. You can send them to me. We'll release that twist, come back around. We'll go all the way around to the left. Hands find the floor next to our left hip, and we'll just lower our head, bowing down. A little counter twist. Spine reset. And then back to the center. And now we're just gonna lay that knee, that right knee out nice and wide, keeping it crossed over the left. Hands will find a spot right behind our hips, and we'll bend that left knee, placing the foot onto the floor into a bit of a figure four stretch here. Keeping this right foot flexed, and think about moving the right knee away from us. That's where we're gonna get a good rotation in that hip. What's nice about this stretch is that we can just change the distance between us to lessen or intensify where we need. Good. And then we'll just release that left leg down. We'll even place the right foot into more of a Janu Shirshasana type of configuration. Our right hand will stay on the floor. Left hand is going to swoop up to the sky, lifting the hips, opening the heart. See if we can open that heart up toward the sky. Hips are coming forward and up. We can drop the head a little bit. And then slowly we'll lower back down. We'll bend both knees. We can give ourselves a wiggle or a shake if we need. And then we'll move over to the other side. So the right leg will stay nice and long. We'll cross the left leg over that right thigh. And again, bring that focus down to that left hip. Instead of letting it fly up to the sky, direct it toward our mat. If it doesn't make it there, if we're going in that direction, that's exactly what we need to be doing. We'll hug with the right arm. Left arm will come back behind, lengthen on the inhales, twisting on the exhales over to the left. And gently releasing back around. We'll even go all the way around to the right. Fingertips find the floor. And we'll just curl our way down into a little bit of a counter twist. And then back up to the center. We'll open up that left knee, keeping the left foot on that on the right leg. Hands will go back behind us, pulling the shoulders back, and we'll bend that right knee, placing the foot on the floor, finding our spot here in our figure four stretch, moving the left knee away from our body, lifting the heart. gently finding where we're at on this side. Good. And then we'll extend that right leg. Help that left foot down onto our mat in our Janu Shirshasana configuration. Left hand finds the floor. Press down into the shin and the foot. Inhale, swooping the hand, opening the chest, lengthening from our toes to our fingers in stargazer pose. And then exhale. We'll lower ourselves back down. Bring those knees in toward our chest. And then we'll rock back onto our backs. We can even give ourselves our little massage as we rock forward and backward. We need to go side to side. And then we'll settle into our little egg, holding those knees in towards our chest, tucking our chin. And then lowering our shoulders and head, we'll lift our feet up toward the sky, and our hands will find spots either behind the hamstrings or the knees. Maybe we can get up in towards the calf, but thinking about keeping that tailbone in toward the mat, barely touching with our fingers. We're not yanking our legs, causing pain. If we need to, we can slightly bend those knees. Good, and now let's bend those knees really, really deeply. Elbows go to the inside of those legs, and we'll hold the pinky toe sides of our feet as we fall our way in to dead bug or happy baby. Tailbone still is working down toward the mat. Shoulders are softening in towards our mat as we use the weight of those arms to help the knees open and lower down in toward the earth. Now let's release those legs, bring the feet up toward the sky again. We'll even reach the fingers up toward the sky, wiggle our fingers and our toes, roll around in our wrists, and our ankles for Krakalasana. That's not really Sanskrit, that's completely made up. I hope you understand that. And once we've got as many pops as we can find, we're going to exhale, lower those hands down above our heads, lower the legs down, ever so slowly. Once we find the mat, we lengthen, reaching above our head, reaching with those legs below us. One last tall stretch here. And then exhale, let's release and find our Shavasana. Just a easy position, nice and comfortable. We close our eyes. We soften our jaw. And with every breath, we relax a little bit further, releasing into our mats, allowing ourselves to be supported by the earth. Let's begin to deepen our breath. Slowly we wiggle our fingers and our toes. Move our head gently side to side. Gradually bring awareness back into our body. And come back into our space. We'll bring our knees into our chest. We'll roll over onto our side. And when it is time, we'll help ourselves up to our easy seated position. Wherever we land is perfect, wherever we are facing. Let's take a moment to check in with how we are feeling right now. We'll bring our hands together at our hearts and lower our heads. And express some gratitude to ourselves for all of the gifts that we just gave ourselves. Gift of open hearts, open minds, inner strength and connection with ourselves. And I am so grateful for you for joining me today and allowing me to help you through your practice. I wish you all a very, very happy day and would like to remind you that much like our moon, life goes through phases and cycles, and we just need to sometimes be patient and weather whatever we are given with as much grace and strength as we can muster. I know that the nights are starting to be a little bit longer and a little bit darker, and that can be, it can dismay at times, but the moon is gorgeous right now, and so it gives us more opportunity to enjoy that. So please make sure that we go out and enjoy the moon. If you can see some stars, to give us that perspective of our part in the universe. The light and the divine in me recognizes and respects the light and the divine in each of you. And when we are together, whether physically or virtually, we are one. Namaste.